Gary Caffell, the Masterton Mayor, and they've voted to retain. They've supported the Māori wards. They've voted to retain them in Masterton, which is quite different to what we've been speaking about for the last hour. And Gary's with us now. Gary, g'day, mate. Nice to have you on the program.
Yeah, good on you, Duncan. Thank you.
Yeah, so what was tell us about your debate. Tell us about what happened when you guys looked at this.
Well, to be quite honest, we didn't have a hell of a debate, Duncan. We went to the Māori ward in 2021. At that stage, there was only one councillor voted against it, and when it come back this time, we've decided to stay with it through until 2028. Well, obviously, we have to go to a poll in 2025, but we're going to retain it for the next 3 years, and then whatever the poll decides in 2025 will happen in 2028.
What was your initial position, and how have you found it's gone down in town? People don't mind it. People don't like it. What's the deal?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, Duncan, it's been surprising to read some of the comments or see some of the reactions from other places. We've had virtually no opposition to it at all, even social media, papers, anything. People just seem to have accepted that the Māori ward's with us. We found it to be, we've been lucky, and what I say, we've been lucky. We've got a very good Māori ward councillor who doesn't really only, and she makes it very clear that she doesn't only represent people of Māori descent and bring forward Māori views and their aspirations. She's also representing the entire community, and that's come across very clearly at the table. That's
brilliant.
That,
I love that. I love hearing that.
She certainly hasn't been. Yeah.
And I reckon that's the trick to success in New Zealand at a democratic level, is that if you can represent all New Zealanders, then you've got it. You've cracked it. I reckon. You know.
Well, I reckon you did right, and we find that too, that by having a Māori ward, our relationships with Hiwi and Hapu have actually been greatly enhanced. I mean, it can be difficult at times, and you'll understand this. It can be difficult at times working in that area, but look, by having the Māori ward, they're right with us. It's been interesting too. Just the other day, I had a person saying to me about how they're more encouraged to become involved in local body elections themselves by having people on council who look like them and share their views. So, there's a lot of positives towards it, Duncan, as far as I'm concerned.
And can you imagine if you didn't? So imagine just go back a bit and just say, let's say that who is your representative? Who's the Māori rep on the board on the council?
Matuta.
Okay. So imagine you don't have Matuta on your council, and how would it be for you reaching out to iwi and Hapu and all sorts of issues, because they are part of our society, whether you like it or not. They are part of the fabric and the makeup of our environment and waterways and everything we do, and they have land everywhere and all sorts of assets.
Absolutely.
So how on earth would you deal with things without them?
Oh, I think it would be more difficult. I must admit, I came from Southland, and down there, we're pretty true blue. We sort of you go for the idea of everybody being on the same level and but whatever. But when you get into local bodies, you do find that, and I've certainly found that the Māori voice hasn't been well represented, and we haven't had their perspective at the table. And by having them there, it just makes such a difference, because otherwise you have to in a lot of ways, in a lot of issues, Duncan, you have to go back to them anyway. So if they're at the table, it's a hell of a help, and it makes the whole thing easier. And we found it to be, quite frankly, the relationships have improved, everything's fine, and the community seems to be on board. So, honestly, we really don't have a problem at all. But we are really bloody annoyed. We are bloody annoyed with the government who have asked us to go back and put this to a poll, because it means, not only does it mean more, it's going to cost us, I think, $35,000 or something like that, but it's going to create division amongst the communities, and you can see that happening now, of course, and that's, come 2028, we're just a bit worried we're going to be in the same boat.